Welcome back to Cheche, the program where opinion counts, live on Citizen TV. Now, senior police officers have been publicly and broadly scrutinized over their conduct, integrity and qualifications. Our guest this morning, Johnstone Kavulundi of the National Police Service Commission, is chairing that exercise. And one of the things that we notice is that in spite of the new constitution and the gender rule contained in the constitution, is that among the senior police officers you have vetted, there's only one woman?
That's true. And it demonstrates the extent to which, as a commission, we need to really ensure that gender mainstreaming is given the prominence that it deserves. It is very telling, because out of 30 officers, only one lady. We need to have many more of them. And the commission is that committed to ensuring that we begin from where it all starts. But
you can't have noticed that just now. You've been in the job over a year. What have you been doing to gender mainstream?
One, when it came to recruitment of officers at the constable level, we ensured as a matter of policy that at least 1/3 are women. And secondly, when it
comes... Why not 2/3 were women?
Because we wouldn't find them. The truth is that even when we went out to do the recruitment, we worked very hard to get the 1/3. There are places where women simply didn't present themselves. And there are cases where we asked the local leadership to look out for girls who may not be employed, they are suitable, they are qualified, and still they did not come. Now, at the second level is during promotions. No promotion lists proposed by the Inspector General will go through if 1/3 is not constituted of persons of the opposite gender. In this case, we are being very specific. The truth is that we have got few women, and therefore we want to see as far as possible the gender rule respected. Then we'll be able to scrutinize and say these people are suitable for promotion. So that's one part of it. And thirdly, we have today an expert who is working with other women within the police service to ensure that they sensitize women police officers on the need to embrace professionalism to the level where they do not find themselves agreeing to be relegated to the background where they'll simply function as foot soldiers. We want them to also come up and demonstrate that they are willing, they are available, and they like to be promoted to higher ranks.
But what about the culture of the police service? It sounds as if it's unattractive to women in the first place. So if you're working on helping women develop the confidence to present themselves, what are you doing about the culture within the police service?
Culture change is usually a very gradual process. And in a cultural change system, the people that you intend to change must themselves be involved in changing themselves. So there is a gender unit, a gender department within the National Police Service headed by a woman whose duty it is to mobilize, to marshal, to sensitize fellow women on the need to appreciate...
No, you're not answering my question.
Okay.
You're working on the women.
Yes.
What about the men? Because the dominant culture in the police service is a macho one, is a male one. So if the women are being worked on to, improve themselves, what are you doing about the men?
You see, I was actually on the right track. If you've got a woman who is in charge of the gender desk, the woman takes responsibility in ensuring that it's not just the women, but the men also responding on the need to ensure that they do not do the kind of acts, promote the kind of acts that relegate women to the background. Now, as a policy, therefore, even for station commanders, there are very strict rules, very strict guidelines on what a station commander needs to do in order to give women the rightful share of promotions, of proper deployments, of the kind that they merit. This happens at the county level as well. So gender mainstreaming does not just involve the women. The county commanders, the OCPDs have got very specific...
So you've given them guidelines, but you haven't given them any sort of training around gender issues.
The training has been ongoing.
Right.
And it's still ongoing. In fact, that's why I was saying that one of the things we've done is to get expertise in training to ensure that gender mainstreaming is at the core of the operations of the police service.
The other complaint is that looking at the vetting exercise, a lot of the senior officers are elderly, 1 foot out the door. Yes. And there was nothing youthful about the senior officers that were presented. And there are lots of complaints from young people about that, lots of complaints from police officers who are texting in about problems with promotion, corruption in promotion, and mobility within the police service.
The structure when it comes to age in government is not just in the police service. Over the last few years, specifically 5 years, the government has had to retain persons over the age of 55 until they get to 60. And that was a government policy. It applies in the police service as it applies in the rest of the public service. However, what is heartening is that most of those people are headed out. You saw most of those we vetted are 58, 59, others are caterpillaring towards 60. Those men, because the majority of them are men, are on their way out. And we're encouraging the younger people, when you consider that today when we do job adverts, we are aware that the majority of well-educated young people who are ambitious and who are professional are in the ranks of superintendent, senior superintendent, assistant commissioner. So we're giving them a chance when we advertise to even gun for the top positions of senior assistant inspector general and assistant inspector general, because we believe that talent does not just rest with the old people. In fact, we will be better off when we have people with the new ideas who are youthful and therefore capable of promoting good policing practices.
But let me get your opinion before you ask the question. Does that worry you, the gender and youth imbalance within the police service?
It's very worrying because, in fact, the culture of the police, my opinion, the culture of the police when it comes to women and graduates, is that the senior people, if you go to a station employed as a constable, and you find a person who is standard 8 or Form 4 is the station commander, and you are a graduate from the University of Nairobi or any university, the tendency is that you will be humiliated and harassed because you are a graduate.
I agree, Mutegi.
If you are a woman, the worst, particularly the housing conditions for the police. Many of them share rooms. So you'll find probably a woman is made to share a room with a man, and they're not married because of housing problems. So it's negative. The culture of the police is negative to the women and negative to graduates or people who are educated.
Let me start off with the graduates or other officers holding good qualifications, diplomas, postgraduate diplomas, postgraduate degrees. What the Police Service Commission has set out to do in this vetting process is not only to exclude people or retain people depending on how we assess them. It is also to establish a skills inventory that will assist us in the process of proper placement.